Okay, now we should be ready to provide some input to the toPSAil. So let's double click the first one, simulation configurations. So just basic interaction on how to interact with this the user interface, right? So clear data to MATLAB means you disengage. So the name of the game here is to make sure that all the yellows turn into green, right? So for instance, if you don't have these inputs, then you see that here's it becomes not ready, and you actually need to specify input, right? So if you specify that input, then and for this particular sheet, model selection sheet, you have all these field where you need to specify. So if you don't specify, you need to specify them, but you can kind of see drop down menu, and then here's the option to choose, right? So if I want to select linear isotherm, then I'm going to select 1, right? And it turns green because I provide a value. So this is the name of the game. So you just want to go through each of different row and then just specify the right information. So that deals with initialization too. So for instance, do I want to simulate PSA cycle with a single adsorption column? Then I'm gonna put 0. If I want to do multi-bed simulation, in this case 2 columns maximum, I'm gonna go select 1, right? And then you can kind of go through all these one by one. You can select pressure equalization, meaning the pressure, the two adsorption column equalizes their pressure, and I'm interested in modeling that, then you select 1. But in this case, I'm not modeling that. Because two adsorption columns, even though they're two columns, they're not interacting with each other. They're just interacting with a raffinate product tank or feed tank. No actual pressure drop, and then pressure drop, right? So there's different types of pressure drop relationship you can select. Time-driven mode, event-driven mode. Time-driven mode is just basically you're running simulations for fixed amount of time. Event-driven is you have some specific criteria that terminates each step. So it tends to be used for certain cases, but default it's easier to use time-driven mode. Isothermal operation, non-isothermal operation. So isothermal means there's no energy balance with also constant temperature, but sometimes things like adsorption isotherm parameters depend on temperature. So if you want to model those interactions, then you need to add energy balance equations, which just comes from conservation of energy and then a couple more parameters. So in that case, you'd select 1 for non-isothermal. Always either gas law, so we'll probably not change this OH0 because toPSAil assumes either gas law. And there's different types of isotherms, explicit and implicit. Currently, all the isotherms in toPSAil is explicit, so you just provide 0. Explicit adsorption rate model, implicit. Again, the rate model, we use linear driving force adsorption kinetic model, which is an explicit function of state. So we just select 0. And the feed already available at a high pressure, feed compression required, recover the raffinate product, recover both raffinate extract products, depressurization to ambient pressure, vacuum pressure, no hysteresis in the isotherm hysteresis. So you can kind of select all this information to kind of set the stage for the simulation that you want to run, right? And then here's model selection. So basically model specification variables, and you select things like isotherm models, adsorption rate, equation of state, which is just either gas law, Barrett model, linear valve, and heat capacity model. We assume constant heat capacity, and then axial pressure drop. You can select Argon equation or cogenic Karmanov, no axial pressure drop, and then cyclic steady state convergence. So once you specify all these, then you're able to push data to MATLAB, and it says data was pushed to MATLAB successfully. And then the most important thing here is to actually save this. And then you click either go to File and Save, or click this floppy disk button so that you save all these results. And then you can close the Excel file, and this is ready to go. And one last thing that I want to mention is that you can initialize the sheet, and if you click yes, it wipes out everything. So this is red button for a reason, and if you want to revert back, you can just close without saving it, and then you should be able to recover your original data. So initialize the sheet only when you want to start over fresh. Thank you.